So, what if a sock could be the treatment for overactive bladder and incontinence? Well, we'll find out. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ and Friends. My guest today is Issac Oppenheim. He is the creator of the Zida Control Sock. He's been on the show a couple of years ago, and we're going to catch up with him and see what's new in the bladder world. Hi, Issac. How are you?
It's such a pleasure and honor to be with you. It's amazing to have the opportunity to speak with you and your listeners again. I think that the world of overactive bladder has really changed a lot since we spoke last, and in the direction that you and your viewers really believe the world should be going, which is less pharmaceuticals and more holistic treatment that can be delivered at home that doesn't involve pharmaceuticals. So very exciting.
Well, that is amazing. And I think one of the best things is that I learned about this sock from my urologist, and I'm hoping that more people are going to hear about it now, especially people that don't want to take drugs and surgery.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, one of the amazing things is that the world of urology and gynecology have moved that direction, even in the formal process. The world of urology and urogynecology have chosen to make patient option at least their modus operandi today, where physicians are being told that they should choose the right path for patients. That's their current guidelines, not to push people to medicines. And most people don't want to take medicines today because the majority of medicines that are available to treat overactive bladder are associated with dementia. And that's a risk that as we get older, increases. And nobody wants to take those drugs. So it's amazing that the world of medicine is moving in that direction. We just need to convince insurers that that's the way of the future.
Yeah.
So that's part of the exciting work that we're doing.
It's interesting because most doctors and pelvic floor physical therapists have heard of PTNS, which is very similar, but you have to go to the doctor and, find parking and stay there for a half hour, 12 weeks, et cetera. This is basically, if I understand it correctly, like doing it yourself. But I'm surprised that so many still don't know about the sock.
Yeah, I mean, it is something, and we are amazing. Last time we spoke, we were really coming off of FDA approval, and this month we are moving to the commercial phase to make this device available to the largest population possible. Physicians that we speak with are super excited about the device and about the opportunity to treat in this innovative way. Like you said, Chef AJ, our device is the same thing as PTNS, just at home. It's more convenient, it's less costly, and it's much more convenient. So, there's definitely a stigma, there's definitely embarrassment associated with the overactive bladder, and it's killing people's lifestyle. So that's what we're here to fix. I'm not the traditional medical device guy in the world. Our company is founded by me and includes people who care about patients. Only that's number one criteria. Do care about people. And sorry, Chef AJ. Yeah.
Yeah, just raise your the bottom of your head. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, perfect. That's
Perfect.
much better. That is great. Well,
So,
just what is overactive bladder? And does the sock
sure.
cure it? Does the sock manage it? And how does it work for other things like frequency and incontinence?
Excellent question, Chef AJ. With your permission, I'd like to bring up some slides that I prepared to share with you and your guests.
Perfect.
That way we can go through some of these questions that you're asking, which are right on. And like I was saying, the background of me is super important to understanding the Zida Control Sock, which you see pictured here. Now, last time we were on, you put on the sock and you showed people how you use it. But the Zida Control Sock itself is a sock. I invented it because I was on a family roost trip with my grandfather. And at the age of 93, he wasn't able to live up and, live a life without embarrassment. And when I came home, I talked to my father and I said, Dad, we got to do something for grandpa. And they went with him to his physicians and they said, sorry, there's not really anything we can do for him. He's taking a bunch of other medications and he's not really so mobile. And we don't have any options for him. You can buy him some diapers. You can buy some pads. And of course, pads and diapers aren't great for the environment. They don't treat anything. So luckily, I have a background in manufacture of textiles. I own a factory that we were prime vendors for some of the largest companies in the world of fashion, whether that's Victoria's Secret, whether that's Lululemon, Adidas, Calvin Klein. And I came back and I sat with my R&D team. We'd started getting into the world of medical devices and advanced textiles as textile manufacturing left, the West and moved to China. And we had developed a stent cover for a cardiac stent that goes into the heart for a customer. And I said, let's come up with a solution. And we went through the literature. We recruited some urologists, urogynecologists, and we bumped into this problem called PTNS, or this device called PTNS, which treats overactive bladder. And I said, well, maybe that can work because I happen to be the world's expert in washable, wearable, conductive elastic wires. And that came up when Adidas came to us back when everyone was running with halters. If you all remember halters 10, 15 years ago, guys out running would have on a halter. But what would women do? They had their bra, covering where that halter would go. And Adidas said, hey, we want to put, the electrodes, we want to put the sensing devices into the bra itself. And so we made that possible for them. And I said, hey, can we use that same technology, that same idea, and use it to deliver what's called neuromodulation to treat overactive bladder? And everybody said, that's an interesting idea. Can you do it? And we sat down our team and we developed a product called the Zida Control Sock, which is pictured here, which is so simple to use.
Wait, I'm not seeing your photo. I'm not seeing any slides shared. I'm not seeing your slides.
You're not seeing the
nope.
Okay.
Nope. I saw them when we practiced, but I'm not seeing them now.
No, because it says it's sharing. Let me stop.
Nope. I'm glad I mentioned it before you kept going.
I'm getting getting feedback that other people are seeing them. Now you see it?
Now it's perfect. I can see it perfectly.
Oh, perfect. So like you can see in the picture, there's a picture of the Zida Control Sock there, which is a sock. We're just holding up the Zida Control Sock. It's a sock. If you know how to put on your sock in the morning and open up your car using your key fob, we made this extremely complicated, extremely complex medical device simple so that people could use it at home. And that is our principle. Our principle is to set up a way for patients to manage their overactive bladder, because overactive bladder, like you asked, is not something that can ever be cured. The mileage on our bladders only goes up as we get older, and it's something that needs to be managed. Once you have overactive bladder, you're probably going to need to keep treating it for the rest of your life. And the Zida Control Sock just makes it so easy and accessible to do whenever you want. So let's move forward and talk about what is overactive bladder. Chef AJ, as you mentioned, there's 4 general symptoms that people suffer from. The first thing is nocturia. It's people that get up at night 4, 5, 8 times a night. They can't get a good night's sleep. On the younger side, people get up, it's hard for them to go to work and function properly. Otherwise, it just kind of ruins your relationship at home because you're disturbing your partner getting out of bed all the time. The other thing is urinary frequency, going to the bathroom more than 9 times a day, and or urgency, meaning feeling a dire urge, I need to run to the bathroom to go and pee. And sometimes that leads to incontinence, meaning not making it to the bathroom. So how prevalent is this problem? This problem is ridiculously prevalent. 40 million Americans suffer from overactive bladder. When we look at the statistics, we're talking about 50% of women over the age of 65, 30% of men over 65, and 25% of women 18 to 40. So that's a tremendous slice of the population. You are not alone if you're suffering from these symptoms, and the Zida Control Sock is here to help you manage and control them. So one of the other things I think that is important to talk about is that there are 2 types of incontinence, right? One is stress incontinence, and I'm sure that your users and your listeners are familiar with doing your Kegels, Kegels treat stress incontinence. Stress incontinence is caused by not having the muscle tone in the pelvic floor. Pelvic floor therapists, can help you control and rebuild that muscle. Men suffer from stress or physiological issues due to prostates. But one of the things that's really unique is that most people who are suffering from stress incontinence are also suffering from overactive bladder. So what can we do? We can help people at Zida get over the problem of overactive bladder. One of the ways that we do that is, first of all, today, people wait so long before they go to talk to their doctor about it. The CDC has a statistic that people wait on average 6 years. Doctors, themselves, when you get into asking your doctor the process of trying to get some sort of help from them, it's long, it's tedious. There's no real motivation from the side of providers to treat because they don't have a good solution. As we mentioned kind of at the top of the show, there are prescription drugs that treat overactive bladder. The top 2 classes of drugs have been recently linked to dementia, and nobody wants dementia. So doctors and patients don't want to take these drugs. Certainly the people that are listening to this podcast don't want to do that. So other options, like you mentioned, PTNS, percutaneous, where you go into your doctor's office, they stick you in the ankle with a needle. It takes a tremendous amount of time. You have to do it once a week for 12 weeks at minimum, and it costs you about 2 hours a week. So a lot of people don't have that kind of time. The other thing that's really disturbing to us at Zida is that 90% of patients today who suffer from overactive bladder aren't getting any form of treatment. The basic statistic is that even the people who get treated, 75% of them quit whatever their doctors recommended within 75%. I'm sorry, within three months. So that's kind of what's out there. Just to go through what doctors are doing to prescribe and to help patients today. There's all the pharmaceuticals, the drugs. The second thing, as pictured here, Chev AJ with which you're familiar. The second picture here is the Urgent PC. It's a percutaneous device that you have to go into your doctor's. It hurts, takes a tremendous amount of time. For the men out there, penile clamps, who wants that? Diapers are extremely expensive. They're terrible for the environment, and they don't treat the problem itself. For women, there are also, and men, there are probes that can go in either in the rectum or the anus that will stimulate the pelvic floor. That's a little bit invasive, I would say. So the treatment options out there today are bad. And that's why, the Zida Control Sock itself is so meaningful and so impactful. I've got a device here. It's really simple. If you can put on your sock in the morning and open up your car using your key fob, then you can use this device. It's really simple. It's really comfortable. It's simple to use. So that gets you to the complete Zida solution, which is bringing to patients this clinically effective home care neuromodulation system that treats overactive bladder. It's FDA cleared, and doctors are comfortable prescribing it. It is a prescription device today, and our team is here to help you. As mentioned, the overactive bladder is something that people will suffer with for the rest of their life. At Zida, we have a continence team that is here to help patients from day one through the rest of their life to help manage their overactive bladder and help them use the sock, help them modify their behavior in their life in order to get the best results. So how effective is the Zida Control Sock? Effective treatment for the Zida Control Sock means returning quality of life to our users, to our patients. That's what's important. So many patients that we've spoken to over the years have shared with us that their kids no longer want to come over, or they don't feel comfortable going out to have dinner with their friends because they're embarrassed that they're going to have to run to the bathroom, or they're not sure that there's going to be a bathroom on the drive. We conducted a double-blinded randomized clinical study After 12 weeks, 80% of patients experienced clinical success, which meant a 71% decrease in incontinence episodes and a 62% decrease in urgency voids. And in general, 80% of patients, including those who weren't in the treatment arm, said that they got an improvement. So it's absolutely an amazing product. It's simple to use. It's geared for ease of access, ease of use. It only takes 30 minutes a week for 12 weeks. Patients start seeing results between week 4 and week 6. So I would say that for a device that's minimally invasive, has no serious side effects, and doesn't require you to take any oral medication, it's absolutely amazing. I think that one of the questions that people want to know is, well, how does this thing work? It seems like it's snake oil, it's magic, and it's not. What is overactive bladder? Overactive bladder is when the brain tells the bladder that it needs to empty when the bladder's not full. Somebody who goes out to the ball game and drinks six beers, their bladder is full, and we can't help them. They need to go to the bathroom. But too many people are suffering from the need to go to the bathroom 10 times a day, 15 times a day, 20 times a day, and they go to the bathroom and they urinate a little bit. And that's really overactive bladder. They get up in the middle of the night, they go because they feel a desperate urge, and they get out a couple of drops and go back to bed. What our device does is it accesses the nerve system at the ankle and retrains the brain to stop sending the signal to empty when the bladder's not full. There's no, we're not going to stop people from going to the bathroom. It's not an off button. But what it does is it retrains the brain to stop sending the signal to empty when the bladder's not full. So it's absolutely amazing. We have videos explaining how this treatment works. Your users can click on the QR code or visit our website to get more information. Is the Zida Control Sock right for you? So the great thing about the Zida Control Sock is it was designed for men and for women. It's easy to use, as demonstrated. You take the sock, you put it on your right foot, and you turn on this little device. It's got one button. You push on it, starts flashing, and it attaches to the sock using magnetic snaps. It only goes on in one direction, so you can't make a mistake. What it does is it treats the symptoms of overactive bladder, frequency, incontinence, urge, and nocturia. It's a tremendous time saver. It only takes 30 minutes a week for 12 weeks. After 12 weeks, patients typically need to continue using the device bi-monthly or weekly as kind of directed by their doctor. But it's something that you've got the device, you can get replacement socks. The sock itself lasts for 12 weeks. So after every 12 uses, it should be replaced. But you don't have to run to the doctor. You can do it on your own schedule. Patients, share with us that they use the device while they're doing their yoga. They use the device while they are playing Scrabble. They use the device while they're watching the news in the evening or going to bed. So it's very easy to use. It's and it works. And that's really what's amazing. You are, call it the poster child for how this device works. It's easy, it's comfortable, and you get the results. Maybe instead of talking about patients that we don't know, and that your users don't know, your listeners don't know, can you maybe share with us your experience with the Zida Control Sock?
Me? Absolutely. But here's the thing. You said it's supposed to be replaced every 12 weeks. I've been using the same sock for 2 years. Nobody told me.
So, that's amazing. And we do make the best product possible. We want it to last as long as possible, but our recommendation is to replace it after every 12 uses because we embed the electronics in the sock itself. And those electronics at the end of the day are sensitive and they can break. And patients tell us that sometimes they get they stop feeling the treatment after a couple of weeks. It should be replaced after every 12 uses. I'm so happy for you that you got lucky and it worked for you for longer. That is our aim.
I had no idea. So you is it the same price every 12 weeks?
So the device itself is a rental. Today, the sock itself can be purchased. I know that you have a bunch of listeners who got the device previously, and we do have the device, either the socks, replacement socks, either available for purchase or call it to join the subscription model, that they would get all the replacement socks that they need. It's a great solution, and some people can get as lucky as you and get a lot longer out of it. But as a medical device company, we need to make sure that people are getting effective treatment, and that's why we call it languaging it, and that people should be replacing it every 12 uses.
I did not know. And so is it the sock that needs to be replaced, or the sock and the battery pack that goes on the sock? Is it both?
It's just the sock that needs to be replaced. The device itself should last at least 3 years, if not much longer. The testing that the health system requires is to demonstrate that it'll last for at least 3 years, which we've done. But we've got people who have been using the device for longer, and there's no need to replace something that does not need to be replaced. That's our attitude. Really, my attitude is I want to lower the cost of treating an overactive bladder to the minimum, because so many people need it, and it's just so important that people have access to this at a price that they can afford.
But you're competing with drug companies.
Yeah, and you know what? The fact that they're doing the wrong thing does not mean that we should do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I want to do what's right always. I want to help as many patients as possible. And yeah, we're a business. We do need to make money, but at the end of the day, I've got to look myself in the mirror and recognize that I'd help people, and that's worth a heck of a lot more than coming up with a product that we could have, and people recommended to us, why don't you make it disposable? Then you can charge people a lot more money. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. We do need to give people a product that will work reliably and deliver that clinical efficacy that people need. And that's why we have changed the recommendations about using the sock. But otherwise, if it doesn't need to be replaced, don't replace it. So,
other than the side effects you mentioned from medication and possible side effects from surgery, do medication and surgery really solve this problem?
Sure, excellent question. So I would say, you saw we had a previous slide that talked about the clinical efficacy. All drugs, all devices are basically in the same level of efficacy. If I was a drug sales representative, I would tell you, if you just take our pill, your life will, your problem will be solved. That's not the truth, and it's not something that I believe that pharmaceutical companies should be saying. But that's certainly what they would tell you, because they're drug salesmen, and I'm here. I'm not a traditional salesman. I want to help people, and therefore I'm going to tell you the benefit that you can actually get and you can actually expect. People like you, are the proof that it works. So,
well, it definitely, I will say, I still get up to pee at night. It didn't, but it did help with the frequency of how many times. So instead of 4, I get up once, which is a big win as far as I'm concerned. And definitely with the incontinence, that was the worst thing, because I'd broken my back about 40 years ago. And anytime I laughed or coughed or sneezed, I would dribble.
Right. So, that is absolutely the type of results people can expect. You're going from getting up 4 times a night to getting up one time a night is amazing. I think that in terms of your quality of life, you're so much happier having got up only once as opposed to 4 times. You feel much more refreshed. You're much stronger during the day. It's a tremendous benefit to you. And the incontinence, being able to treat that and not have to wear pads or diapers is such a game changer in quality of life.
Absolutely. So the thing is with this sock, there really are no side effects other than maybe in some people it's possible it doesn't work, but there's no really risk to it.
Sure. And let's call, let me put out what they call it the risks are, because it's not nothing is perfect. The risk is that it might hurt. And if it hurts, you can take it off. You can lower the stimulation level. Or you might get a little bit of redness where the contacts were. That's the risk. You take off the sock, the pain goes away. You take off the sock, the redness goes away. That's the risk, and that's something that appears in less than, I believe, 10% of people, or less. So not a tremendous amount of risk. And typically, the people who call us and say, "Oh, it hurt," we give them a little bit of guidance, and they say, "Oh, this is amazing." And a week later, 2 weeks later, we call and just to follow up, and they say, "Oh my gosh, like you shared, my nocturia has gone away. My incontinence has gone away. Thank you so much." The feedback that we get from patients is so meaningful. About a week ago, I was on the phone with a lawyer from the Bay Area. She said that she's a lawyer. She drives about an hour and a half to get to her office. And she'd stop going to the office because every time she would go, she would feel this dire urge that she has to pull off the side of the road to go and pee. And she said, "It's just not fitting. I'm a lawyer. I can't be squatting in the bushes every time I need to go to the office. It ruins my life. And using your sock has given me the ability to have confidence in living and to be the person I want to be, live the life I want to have." And that is the promise of the Zida Control Sock.
Well, you mentioned that it might hurt. And the thing is, I would think it would only hurt if the person turned it up too much.
Yeah, but that is true. That's exactly correct. And that's why I said, those people typically call us, they say it hurts, and we give them a little bit of guidance, and the problem is alleviated. It's not a systematic issue. It's just an issue with how they're using it. And with a little bit of guidance in our caring continence specialists, listening and giving them, some insight in how to better use the device,
I could
they get the
argue
results that they're looking for.
I could argue that PTNS could also hurt. And the thing is when I was getting the PTNS treatments, the nurse was not in the room. And so if it started hurting, like I wasn't able to control it. Like with the sock, I can just take the battery pack off and immediately it doesn't hurt. But with the needle in the leg, I mean, like when they turned it up too much, you couldn't control it,
Correct. You are in control. The Zida Control Sock is here to allow you to be in charge and you control your treatment. And that's really the tremendous benefit that this device gives to people. It makes it possible to take control of your life. Something that you felt like was out of your control is now something that you can be involved in solving.
Yep.
So, call it in consultation with your doctor. You may say, "Hey, I want to get better results." The doctor may not, the doctor may say, use it differently, use it more frequently. Whatever your doctor says, your doctor has the ability to help guide you in your treatment. It's something that it's not this isn't something that you buy on TV or over the counter. It's something that requires a prescription, and you should be in touch with your doctor. And we're here to support you talking with your doctor by helping you gather the bladder diaries, the data, the quality of life surveys that help you communicate effectively with your doctor to say, "Hey, I want more. What can I do?" And that is also part of the benefit and part of the tremendous benefit that the Zida Control Sock gives is that support that our continence team provides.
Yeah. So if somebody's already getting PTNS from their urology office, they can still ask their doctor for a prescription, because people are asking, this does require a prescription from a medical doctor, correct?
It does require a prescription from a medical doctor. It is something that, how about this? Many doctors, particularly those not doing PTNS, love this product. doctors who are doing PTNS and really care about their patients are so happy to prescribe like your doctor was, right? But unfortunately, in the medical system today, so many of the doctors are motivated by money that, for them, you getting PTNS, that's making them a couple $100 a week. And they don't want to give up on that. So there definitely is some pushback, but only about 3% of urologists and urogynecologists are using PTNS today. So the majority of your doctors don't even want to touch that type of treatment. And that's why they're so excited about this device. I was just on the phone today with one of the heads of the largest urology practices in the United States. And he said, this product is absolutely amazing. We don't want to deal with overactive bladder patients because we don't have anything really good in our toolbox. We care about our patients. We want to do good by our patients. And I don't have anything good to give them. Your device is something that I feel comfortable writing a prescription for, sending them home, and you guys being in communication with them. And for 80% of them, they're going to get positive results. That's amazing. Please, how can I prescribe? And that's kind of my caution on speaking with doctors about the product, is that some of them, may have motivations that are not necessarily aligned with yours.
Have you done any clinical trials?
Yes, we did do a clinical trial. We did a clinical trial in Miami. It was a double-blinded. It was placebo with a placebo device. People involved in the study were randomized. It was really according to the best practices for clinical trials. I invented this device because I want to help people. I came at it, and we got a practice in Miami that was able to help us run this clinical trial. The results were absolutely amazing. Patients, whether they were older, whether they were younger, had incredible results. And that's kind of why back when we first spoke about 2 years ago, the FDA was so gung-ho to approve our device. They love our device. They wanted to make this available. They see the writing on the wall that insurers are going to need to cover this device and not try and push people to take the 6 months of medicines before they cover neuromodulation. So that's something we can talk about on this next slide, which is, how do you get the Zida Control Sock? The Zida Control Sock itself today is available to rent for 3 months for that initial round of 12 weeks. It's $549. That's something that I came up with, call it, as opposed to the option to purchase the device. If you know that this device is going to work for you, we'll give you the device. You can buy it for $3,500 or $92 a month. It's something that, if you've done PTNS and you've had tremendous results, your doctor may be pushing you some sort of implant and you don't want to do it, that's something that, that may speak to you. But I'm a caring person. I want people to try this. I want people to use it, and trying to come up with the lowest price point possible to get this into your hands so that you can experience the benefits on your own is something that's such a priority for us. So if you want to get the Zida Control Sock, it's very easy to do. I believe in the show notes, there's a link to download the prescription form. If you download that prescription form, you take that to your doctor signs off on the prescription, sends it to us. One of our continence specialists will give you a call, send you a payment link, and just like you order something on Amazon, the device will be delivered to you. There is also an option for some people to get it covered by their insurer, but it's important for me to also lay out the hurdles that insurers have placed in that kind of the way to getting them to pay. Like I mentioned, neuromodulation historically cost insurers about $50,000 to deliver to one patient. Therefore, they came up with a lot of hurdles to prevent people from being able to access that type of treatment. So in order to access that type of treatment, you have to have tried behavioral therapy, meaning pelvic floor therapy or diet changes. I think the people listening to your show are living healthy lifestyles. They're not drinking tremendous amounts of alcohol. They're not drinking tremendous amounts of coffee or Diet Coke. And therefore, behavioral therapy really isn't going to help them, probably doesn't help them. Either way, it's kind of a check the box for insurers or for doctors. What they really want to put people on are those medicines that are associated with dementia. Most insurers require that you've taken those two classes of medicines for 3 months each. And you have to take medicines that are linked to dementia for 6 months. So I wouldn't recommend taking those prescription medicines to any of my family or friends, people that I care about. But, if you've already taken those medicines because your doctor pushed them at you, you may qualify for insurance coverage. But we are working actively both at a national level, a state level, and with private insurers to get them to amend their coverage guidance to come in line with the American Urological Association and the American Urogynecological Society's recommendations that treatments like the Zida Control Sock be made available without having to take medicines. So that's something that I wish that bureaucracy worked faster. It's something that's going to take months and years, but we are on that. We are on that path, and we are fighting that fight.
So the insurance companies right now are not covering it, not even Medicare.
So, like I said, it is actually covered by Medicare, but Medicare typically requires that patients who will be covered have taken those two classes of drugs for 6 months and be able to demonstrate that. So, like I said, most doctors today do not want to prescribe those medicines because they don't want to be associated with you getting dementia. I spoke with a gerontologist in Southern California about a month ago. She said she was visiting one of her patients at a long-term care facility. This patient had been completely unresponsive, basically. She'd gone from being fully functional to unresponsive. She came under her care. She looked at her medicines and saw that she was taking overactive bladder medication. And she, kind of recommended, why are we giving this lady this overactive bladder medication? She's wearing a diaper all day. And they said, okay, you can take her off. They took her off the medication. And 3 weeks later, she was back at home. She'd become completely lucid and cognizant again after having gone from being really impacted negatively by these classes of drugs. So there's a lot of reticence on the side of doctors and patients to taking those medicines. So, like I said, if you have gone through that path because your provider wasn't aware or you did it, you might be able to qualify for medication, for insurance coverage. But I would not recommend that somebody engage in that path. If you want to, we're happy to help support you. But, we'll also give you our 2 cents, which is that that's a really risky path.
Are you done with your slides?
I am done with my slides.
Okay, maybe stop share because then we can see you a little bit bigger. And would you mind answering some questions from the live viewers?
I would love to.
Thanks. So Betsy says, I live in the UK. How can I get a hold of this? So is this available only to people in the United States?
Excellent question. I know that a number of countries, I believe including the UK, I definitely know Australia have the opportunity to import personal medical devices without going through, call it the whole rigmarole of the equivalent of the FDA. I'd suggest that Betsy reach out to the continence team, and we'll come up with a way for Betsy to get a device. We'll do anything to help people. If it's legally possible, we'll do it.
Thank you. Alyssa is saying this could be life-changing and a better quality of life for patients. Absolutely. And Virginia wants to know, does the sock come in plus sizes?
Excellent. So the device, one of the amazing things about me, right, is that my background is in textile design and manufacturing for the world's largest brands. So we sell the device in 4 sizes: small, medium, large, and extra large. That goes according to sock sizes. So when you go into a store and you buy socks, typically you don't really have sizing issues. And that's what we really brought to this device, is the ability to ensure that the electrodes required to deliver effective stimulation are always properly aligned. We did a field study with hundreds of patients and found that all those patients were able to align it, with kind of the exception of people who had a number of very strange or very rare medical conditions like lymphedema. The extra large size goes up to, it fits people who wear up to size 14 and a half men's. So I'm not sure, where plus sizes comes in, but if you wear up to a size 14 and a half men's, we can help you.
Thank you. So Cheryl says, can my primary practitioner prescribe this system, or does it have to be a urologist or a urogynecologist?
No, that's actually something that's really amazing about our devices, that general practitioners have avoided treating overactive bladder because of the risks associated and the complications with overactive bladder. General practitioners love this device. I know that on our previous call, a lot of your patients work with a doctor named Dr. Harrington, who lives somewhere on the internet. He was extremely helpful in providing prescriptions for patients.
Is it Dr. Scott Harrington?
It is.
Yeah, he's been a regular on my show for years.
So yeah, I mean, people went to him, they got a prescription, we were able to fill it for them. Any licensed physician, or in most states, I believe, nurse practitioner can prescribe this device.
Thank you. Judy would like to know if this device can be used if you have a pacemaker, because a TENS unit cannot be used if you have a pacemaker. Is it similar to that?
So I would say that you should definitely speak with your doctor. I know that we do have patients who their doctor have prescribed, even though people have pacemakers, but a pacemaker is definitely on the list of things that are contraindicated, meaning if you have a pacemaker, your doctor should, evaluate and consider whether this is a good fit for you. In general, the answer is no, but like I said, some people are, speak with their doctor chooses to prescribe. That's a risk that only they know how to assess. It's not something that I can, really give any opinion aside from saying that the FDA says that if you have a pacemaker, you should not use this. But if I was speaking to a friend, I would say talk to your doctor.
Thank you. So there's a question about, where did it go? So she's saying it sounds just like a TENS unit attached to a sock. Is that true?
So it's actually a very interesting question. TENS uses electrical signals to treat pain. Our device is actually extremely complicated. It looks very simple. As you can see, it's small. It's really got 3 buttons. Our device is really unique, or is distinctly unique from a TENS device, because TENS devices don't have what's called a closed loop system. Our closed loop system adjusts the treatment during treatment to ensure that you're getting the clinically effective result that you're supposed to get. TENS just puts out a signal that's static, no matter what's happening to your body. The beauty of a sock is that you can wear it, you can move around. You should try and do it while sitting down, but even when you're sitting down, you may move around, and the signal needs to be adjusted. One of the amazing things about our device, and this, Chef AJ, the device doesn't have, call it, any screen on it. It doesn't tell you what level you're treating yourself. Why is that? The reason is because the body's resistance or electrical resistance changes from time to time, even during the course of the day. How much did you drink today? Are you sweating? Did you shower? Did you put on cream? All these things affect the conductivity of the skin, and the skin is a tremendous resistor and prevents effective treatment. And what our device does, call it distinct from a TENS device, is it knows how to get over those changes in the body.
Thank you. I want to read a couple of comments from a live Instagram viewer named Bookworm. And they're saying the PTNS machine is clipped to something like an acupuncture needle and emits an electrical current that can be controlled. That's true, but depending on, I've gone to different doctors for this, and some do not allow the patient to control it. They don't put it where you can touch it. And so when it goes too high and it really hurts, you've got to scream and hope the nurse comes or pull the needle out. That's at least has been my experience. But even more so, just to drive to where I could get it, 30 minutes, fight for parking, pay for parking. That's why I decided to go with the sock. And the same person is saying the copay for 12 weeks of PTNS is less than the sock rental. So, that is
Yeah,
the
I
one
mean,
thing. PTNS is paid for by insurance right now.
in many cases, it is. Most insurers do require you to have taken those drugs. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. Every person, has different insurance. The last week we were speaking with somebody who had an insurance plan that said, "Oh yeah, we'll cover that device for that patient, but you should know that the patient's going to have to pay the whole thing out of pocket." We were like, "What?" They're like, "Well, he hasn't met his deductible for the year." So each person with their own cost analysis. If you've gone through and you're getting PTNS and you're happy with it and you don't mind taking the drive, doesn't hurt, go
Well,
for it.
with PTNS, you still have to keep taking it though. So it's not like a one and done. After my understanding with PTNS is, at least when I had it, it was once a week for 12 weeks and then every month.
Correct. I mean, it's once a month, twice a month. And I know that in most states, Medicare and most insurers do not cover that ongoing maintenance therapy. Again, the question, the person who asked the question, their insurer may cover. So I don't want to get into specifics. That's kind of the general situation.
One of the viewers is saying this would be a game changer for interstitial cystitis, but I don't think the sock is for interstitial cystitis, is it?
It is not for that. If you have interstitial cystitis, you can talk to your doctor. It may be something that's good for you. It's certainly not something that I'm qualified to comment on.
Thanks. Priscilla's saying, I have an interstem implanted last year and it's life-changing. I would have considered this first if I had known about it. This might be an option for me if I have lead migration or need another implant. I didn't realize there was such a thing.
Yeah, I mean, the interstem is that $50,000 device that got implanted. Congratulations to you. It's an amazing device. Very few people get, interstems. Only about 20,000 people around the world are getting that device implanted out of 40 million people who are suffering. So yeah, go interstem, go PTNS. If you've got access to that and you're happy with that, you should definitely continue using it. The Zida Control Sock is available for people who, prefer that option, prefer that modality of treatment, or they don't have access.
Thank you. So there's a question from Tammy. Will this help you if you're not emptying your bladder completely?
I would say no. If you're not emptying your bladder, you have a physiological issue. You should speak with your urologist, your gynecologist. There are other solutions for you.
Thank you. Well, a lot of people are saying it's just too expensive for a sock.
I hear.
Yeah.
It is a sock, but it's not. The sock is how you put it on your foot in order to deliver this modality of treatment, which otherwise costs many thousands of dollars to the medical system and even tens of thousands of dollars. So call it value for the healthcare system. It definitely is.
Yeah. Well, if it helps you, it's priceless. So Beverly says, is the sock compression a factor regarding diabetes or lymphedema?
Excellent question. So the sock itself does have elastic properties or some compression in it in order to ensure that the electrodes stay placed. You should certainly consult with your doctor if you have these conditions, but you can it's something that you wear for half an hour. So in consultation with your doctor, it may be a solution that can help you even if you have diabetes or lymphedema. You certainly should not wear this sock. If you're typically wearing diabetic socks, during the course of the day, the FDA says put on the sock for half an hour a week. And doing that, I would suppose that would not be an issue for diabetics or people with lymphedema, but contact your doctor. You've got a complicated situation.
Yeah, and Priscilla's saying, can the sock be used in addition to an interstem?
So the sock cannot be used in addition or to an interstem. It's using the same modality of treatment. It just doesn't require you to get your back cut open and qualify through those hoops taking those drugs.
Yeah. Bookworm saying not required to take drugs for PTNS. I'm in California. I think people are different depending on where they live, what the
For
requirement.
sure. Yep, absolutely. Each insurer has their
Yeah,
own set of criteria.
absolutely. So there's a question from Sparker. My 91-year-old dad has lost his sensation of feeling he has to pee, so he wears diapers, and most of the time they're full and leak. Do you think there's a possibility of the sock helping him?
I mean, yes, we do have patients that fit into that kind of category that have seen tremendous improvement. I know that we've got a patient that I met in Miami at a friend's house who their mother-in-law is 96 and had similar issues, and she has been tremendously improved over the past 2-3 years. And so it's definitely something that could potentially help. But again, it's a complicated situation, and it sounds like there's a bunch of underlying issues. So, that's why there's doctors in the world.
Thank you. And there is a question from Cheryl. When one is using this sock, must they be under the care of either a urologist or a urogynecologist?
No, you do not have to be under the care of a urologist or a urogynecologist. I would certainly recommend that you be in touch with a urologist or urogynecologist, just because, like we talked about, overactive bladder is something that's not going to go away. This isn't a cure. It's a way to manage your symptoms, and having a doctor in the picture can help, but not required.
Well, speaking of having a doctor in the picture, I had no idea that my friend and colleague, Dr. Scott Harrington, was doing this for people. So if your doctor won't give you a prescription, he is a wonderful plant-based physician that is board certified in almost every state. You can do a virtual appointment with him, and he says he will write you a prescription. I just texted him about that.
Amazing.
Nice. So that's great. Well, I think that people will learn more about this as more doctors start using it. This is still, even though we did a show 2 years ago, this is still a new concept to a lot of people. And if it's not something that's troubling to them, it might not be something that they're interested in. But I think everybody knows somebody with this condition, like you say, people that are afraid to go on trips or go hiking or things like that. So that could be an option. And people are always welcome to do surgery or drugs if that's their choice. But this could be a good option for people. And maybe at some point when it gets more popular, the price will go down, or insurance will cover it, or both.
Correct. Absolutely. That's our goal.
Yeah. I'm just curious, what have you invented anything else interesting that could help people?
So I am actually working on a new product. It's something to help treat fungal nails. So
Wow.
I guess we're feet people.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Is it like a laser, or is it another home kind of device?
No, it is a home device. It's a device that we're currently making prototypes to get to the University of Miami that we're very hopeful will help reduce the amount of months it takes to get the results that people are looking for. The other thing that we do make is compression socks, something that I think a lot of people could benefit from. That's kind of coming out of our more traditional textile business, but a lot of overlap between the overactive bladder and the need or benefit for compression socks.
Nice. So there's a kind of are you interested in responding to a comment that's a little, you know, well, I'm just going to say it. So Judy says, the fact that you're supposed to replace it after 12 uses immediately told me not to trust this company. That's $292 for using it 12 times. Absurd. Well, here's the funny thing, Judy, is I must have missed that memo, and my sock lasted over 2 years. I didn't know. That's just,
I mean, I would say, first of all, Judy, you are right that it is a lot of money. I think that when you compare it to the cost of, call it that needle that you get when you go to PTNS, that needle itself costs over $100 per week. So that's a lot of money just for a little acupuncture needle. We've tried to make the device as cheap as possible, but it's actually really advanced. I hear you. Like, my goal is to make the device as cheap as possible. I try and be as honest and forthright, and try and make it as accessible, and while still making it something that people like Chef AJ, you used for over 2 years and had positive results. didn't need to replace it. But as you know, as a company, we need to tell people what we were seeing from people in the field, and to ensure that people are getting the most effective treatment. So you want to get the thing, you can get it and keep it as long as it works. More power to you. It does not have any, call it, sensors or way to stop working, but just as a best recommendation to ensure effective treatment. Like you mentioned, somebody who does want to get the device or learn more about the device, consult with their doctor. The link to the prescription form and information about the product is available in the show notes. So that's what I can say. Any other questions?
I don't see any, but thank you. Yeah, I think it's just amazing when people invent things in general. And, it's, I'm going to also be honest, full disclosure, I used it for 2 years and I never washed it either. And it was fine,
It can be washed. Like I said, we come out of the world of fashion, so it can go through 30 wash cycles, no problem, which is more than Gap and Nike are doing today. It's something that it should be air dried if you choose to put it into the washing machine. But it's an amazing product. Like you said, you wear it for half an hour a week. It doesn't necessarily need to be washed. Obviously, if you're washing it more with aggressive wash cycles and chemicals, the lifespan goes down. So, and that's part of the, call it, iteration and communication on the lifespan of the sock.
Why'd you choose the colors you choose?
Oh, so I think that my original idea was that the device actually would act like the interstem, meaning you could wear it all day and it would treat you multiple times during the day. From a regulatory perspective, the FDA didn't like that idea or wasn't comfortable with that idea. So, we're following what the percutaneous recommends doing, and they were cool with that. So it's an amazing solution, and it works. So
I would
don't
love
argue with that.
if there's possibility, you mentioned the clinical trial. Is it published somewhere in the research? Because I think if we could, yeah.
Sure, I can send, we can get you a copy of that clinical trial. It was published in the International Journal of Urology and Nephrology. One of the leading urologists on voiding dysfunction, Dr. Alan Wine, who's the third name on the urology textbook, reviewed that clinical trial and had many positive things to say about it, and recommending it being used in place of drugs. Of course, with any doctrine, any academics, call it skepticism also.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And once we get that, I'll link to it in the show notes, and then people can maybe show that to their urologist or urogynecologist if they're interested in pursuing it. Thank you so much, Isaac.
Thank you. All right.
My pleasure. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ and Friends. Please come back next Friday, October 4th at, what time are we doing this? 9 a.m. Pacific time for Dr. Michael Klapp.